Marketing never ends. It's not the same as sales, you never complete a sale.
You have achieved stuff at an early age. You know, you manage a big team of people at 26 years old. That's still a hell of an achievement. The listeners to this, especially the young people, will expect things to fall in their lap and it won't.
From an engineer's manufacturing perspective, I would definitely say just don't rule it out. I think you can literally do anything in manufacturing. If you're targeting the people that are interested in engineering manufacturing, if they're my age and they've never bought a magazine, they're not going to buy yours.
It is people like us that have to push the industry
to convince this is definitely how it's going.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Tom Flude and I'm a co-founder of Engineers Insight. Today I'm sat with Ashleigh Boyce from igus. Welcome to the podcast, Ashleigh.
Thank you for having me.
Do you want to just introduce yourself, tell everyone about what you do?
Yeah, so my name's Ashleigh. I work in marketing at igus UK. So igus is a manufacturing company of polymer parts. So we make energy chains, polymer bearings, linear systems, everything like that. Originally a German company, so we're the subsidiary in the UK. And yeah, I do marketing there.
Okay, so who and what are you responsible for?
So anything marketing, from digital to print, so websites, analytics, search engine optimization, all the digital stuff, and then magazines, exhibitions, the more traditional stuff as well. So we have a team and then I oversee that team. Okay,
how big is the team?
There's 6 of us in marketing, and then if you count kind of all our telemarketers and everything else, it's 16.
Okay, so that's a lot of responsibility.
It is, but the core is 6, so they work closer with me, and then everyone else, it's just keeping on top of it and making sure we get all the calls done and things like that. So, yeah.
So hopefully your team didn't tell you that I reached out to some of them.
They did not.
Good. So I asked them,
okay,
how would you describe Ashleigh to someone that's never met her?
Okay, I'm interested.
Do you want to hear the answers?
I do.
Dedicated and resourceful. She always finds a way to get things done. She's attentive. She's a great listener. There's a mention of you being slightly odd because you don't like donuts.
I don't like donuts.
And that you're a Costa coffee addict.
This morning I had one.
Okay, right. And then there was some really nice feedback actually. She's down to earth, hardworking, fiercely loyal, family oriented and always positive. Oh. I couldn't ask for anyone better to lead the marketing department.
Oh, that's lovely. Can I ask the names?
No.
Oh.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah, well, they were very good at keeping it a secret, to be fair. Usually they would tell me, but oh, that's lovely.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's very nice.
Yeah. So there's an underlying theme.
Yeah.
Not only that, you know, the people around you love you, but you have a real intense work ethic, it seems. So where does that come from?
It's hard to say. I think I never really knew what I wanted to do. And I just really fell into this role. And when I started it, we were a really small marketing department. I think there was 2 or 3 people when I first started. And it was just, I just had a vision and I was like, we can make this something a lot more than it is. And I think until I've got it to where I want it to be, I have to keep going. So yeah, I don't know if I have a place where it comes from, but I like to make sure I've completed what I've set out to do. Yeah. So yeah.
That's good. So if we go right back, before igus, before industry, or any of the real jobs that you've had.
Okay.
Where did you grow up? What did you want to be when you were older?
So I grew up in Spain. So
okay,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I lived in a place called Almeria, and then I lived in Malaga as well. So I was there from about, I think, 6-ish to about 14. And then I came back to do my GCSEs because their education system's slightly different. So I came back. I was terrible at English. It was not good. I was like, take me back, this is not going to go well. And then ended up doing my GCSEs. I was meant to go back, but then I thought, oh, I might as well do my A-levels. I might as well go to uni. And then I've just kind of, stayed since then, so. Okay.
So do you have a favourite memory from that time in Spain?
From Spain? I think probably just that we could go out whenever, like being kind of 8, I could run to the next village and it was completely safe and fine, and it was a lot more, I guess, freedom and obviously warmer, so I could be outside a lot more. So the summers are much longer, so yeah, it was a very nice way to grow up, I would say.
Okay, are you still fluent?
Yeah. Well, no, I am.
I'm not going to test you, I don't know anything. I barely know English.
No, I am, but the longer I don't practice it, the more I'm like, what's the word for banana? Do you know what I mean? Like, I forget certain words.
You eat a lot of bananas. Yeah, okay. So you move back, you do A-levels,
yeah,
university.
Yeah.
Throughout that period, did you have any jobs?
Yeah, so when I was doing my A-levels, I was a party host at a soft play centre.
Okay.
Yeah, so did that.
I thought you were going to say something extravagant then, and it was soft play.
No, it's soft play centre. So I did princess parties and dressed up and, you know, ran around with kids all day, so I did that. And then at uni it was just bar and cafe work, and I just, shifts the whole way through really. Nothing too exciting, I wouldn't say.
Are there any moments in them jobs that have stuck with you?
I think the being on the feet, the long hours, I remember that quite a lot. Late nights.
Wage.
Yeah, the minimum wage.
Yeah.
My first job was, I remember seeing my first payslip and thinking, I feel like I've worked my life away this month, and that is not a lot. So yeah, that I think could be a bit higher. It's very low when you first start out. Well, was when I started anyway.
So you have these array of jobs. Mm-hmm. Did you go straight into manufacturing?
No.
Or did you work somewhere first?
So when I left uni, I was I wanted to be in education. So I wanted to do some kind of marketing role in education. I had this thought to better promote schools and make it more of a, I want to go to school experience. And then I worked in a school and I was like, I don't know if this is for me. So I remember I went to an agency and I just said, can you find me something, not in a school, in marketing? And they said, yeah, we've got this place at igus. It's for SEO, so search engine optimizing and content creation. And I dabbled a bit in that at uni and in placements at uni and things. So yeah, I remember saying to my work, I've got a dentist appointment tomorrow, I need to go. And then coming in really smartly dressed the next day and nipping out quickly. And then yeah, kind of just, I had no idea who igus were really. So just went for it, I guess. So.
Okay. Did you have any mentors at that time?
Not
was there
really.
anyone that was sort of helping you along?
I think my sister's always been really career driven, education driven. I was a bit more, I took drama GCSEs and she was more maths. So I think she would have a look at my CV and always advise and things, and she always had really good jobs. So when I found this one, I was like, I'm going to do what you're doing now. Yeah. So that was nice.
Okay, so you get into igus, mm-hmm. and you are just in marketing, just in the team.
Yeah.
There's a team leader at that point.
No.
No, there's no team leader. Okay.
No, there is, but it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started. Me and another person started at the same time because they were looking to expand, and I think we were there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they were like, "You're going to go to Germany for a month now, and they're going to train you." So I packed my bags and went to Germany for a month. So kind of got to know the German team more than the English team at first. And yeah, they trained us in kind of the igus way and some kind of search engine training and things like that. So went through that and then came back. But it was still a really small team, and when I first got there, there wasn't a lot of possibilities and things like that, just because we didn't know what we could do because they hadn't expanded, I guess, marketing as much. So
talk to me about the lead up to you being promoted. So how did it come about? What happened?
So we had a team leader that was great. I loved her, she was amazing. But she was kind of looking to go in different directions. So it was who could do it, and I didn't want to think, oh, it will be me, but I was, kind of fingers crossed hoping. And I'd already kind of envisioned what I wanted for the team, and I made plans and notes anyway. So when it came about, I was obviously really excited, and I was like, I've been preparing for this. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. But obviously I had no experience in managing people. I knew what I wanted marketing to look like, but I didn't think, what am I going to do if someone calls me sick? And all of those things I had that was like a learn as I went, definitely. So.
How did it feel the first day?
It was strange because I've just gone from being like, not that you're on a different level, but I've just gone from having a moan with people and we're all friends to now, do you want me to take that moan further? Do you want me to help you with that moan? Like, so it was an adjustment period for sure, yeah.
Yeah, were there any specific moments, I suppose early on when you get promoted, like you say, you're sort of thrown into the deep end, stuff that you've not come across.
Yeah.
Was there any moments there that stick with you that you think, or at the time you thought, I don't know how I'm dealing with this?
Yeah, I think when you have to kind of do the assessments of people, so we have a P scoring, and every 6 months you have to kind of give that feedback where you think that person is, how you think they can improve. And to me, I was like, everyone's great. There's nothing they can improve on. And I really struggled, I think, I wanted to put everyone as perfect and amazing, and to give the feedback and say, it's hard to say, I think you're great, but you fall here. And that was, I think, giving that kind of feedback when you've gone from being like friends and all as one was an adjustment, I think, yeah.
And how did you make that adjustment? How did you in your head, realise that you are now the manager and you have to make these decisions? How did you cope with that?
I think there was a lot of talking in the mirror and a lot of, let me practice this in the bathroom, because I didn't want to stumble, I didn't want to say, I kind of think this, like I wanted to be sure. So I definitely rehearsed all my feedback meetings like 3 times. And I was really open with them, and I said, this is the first time I'm doing this. If I say something that upsets you, or if I've not said this properly or it doesn't make sense, please tell me, because they knew it was my first time as well. So I was just very open and just said, trying my best, but hopefully, yeah, this makes sense.
Do you feel confident in it now?
I'd say, yeah. I think it's been 2 years, I think now, since I've been doing it. And I definitely, it's in the stride a lot more now, I would say. And they know, they've given me feedback, they know how I do things. And at the end, it's always, how can we improve? What can I do? And I always take it on board. I'd say feedback, I don't take offence, because I've only just started doing this stuff. So anything is just helps me. So
yeah, it's a good mindset to have.
Yeah.
I've said it, I think in the first episode, every experience I've had, I've just used as something to grow on, even if it's negative.
Yeah.
It's something that helps you, especially, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but you're obviously still very young and you've got a big career ahead of you. It's just everything you take in your stride, because at some point you're just going to become an even better manager or higher up the chain. I don't know how high you want to go.
Yeah.
On that point, obviously you become a manager and then you have to be able to manage people below you, but then you also have to manage expectations from above.
Yeah.
How did you cope with that?
I think the first thing was looking at OKRs, looking at goals and thinking, how realistic is this based on the team that we have? I think it's hard to explain with marketing sometimes. I think people think we're going to do this campaign and we're going to get loads of leads, and sometimes you don't get leads and you have to review that campaign. And so I think reviewing things has come a lot more into it since I've started, and saying that didn't go well, we're not doing that again. And communicating that properly, I think, to the people above, and explaining, this is the team we have, this is the campaign, they worked hard, it didn't go well, so we need to change something. And it's been well received, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a scenario that I always ask guests to do, and it's, imagine you're stood in front of a classroom of next generation, could be engineers, could be marketers. What advice would you give them?
I think with kind of, if I'm going from an engineer's manufacturing perspective, I would definitely say, just don't rule it out. Like when you're at school, if you went to a primary school, they would say, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. And I think manufacturing is not on the list. If someone stood up and said, I'm going to work in manufacturing, you'd think it was maybe a rubbish job. I don't know, the mindset I don't think is that this is a place where you can thrive. Yeah. So not to limit any kind of manufacturing company to that's boring. I think you can literally do anything in manufacturing, and especially with igus, like if I said tomorrow I want to try finance, they'd probably say why, but they would then help me and say, okay, well, let's give it a go, let's see what you can do. And you can just do every job in manufacturing, I feel like. So yeah, don't rule it out.
Okay. What about as a marketer?
As a marketer, I would say it's not the same as sales. You never complete a sale. Marketing never ends. There's always, how did the campaign go well? How did it not? It's very rare that you get a finalised product, because if you get a launch, there's analytics to review. If you look at the analytics and they're good, okay, why are they good? Let's do that again. It's a never-ending cycle of what are we doing? How can we be better? And I think that's hard to come to terms with when you first start marketing, because you don't get that sense of, I did it. It's, let's keep doing it. So, yeah. Yeah,
there's a word that always crops up, curious. So it doesn't matter if you're an engineer or a marketer. Yeah. Like you say, you know, an engineer has to be curious to fault find, but if you're in marketing, you have to be curious about the numbers that you're getting to find something else that you've missed. So yeah, I mean, curiosity, I think Dan clipped it in the intro for episode 1, and I said curiosity is huge. Yeah. It's huge in every walk of life. The guest that we had before you, his mindset was that, well, actually the next generation have to be driven. They have to want to do it. Nothing's going to fall in their lap. Yeah. Which is sort of the feeling that you get from some young people that you talk to. I think
even for me, when I was in uni, I remember thinking, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to get married, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to have a dog, have a career. And I really thought I was going to get this all by 25. I was like, I'm going to have this life. And then you quickly get into employment and realise, okay, this doesn't move as fast as I thought it was going to move. And there is an adjustment period of, I really thought I was going to climb and get everything in my 20s. And I'm 26 and I'm nowhere near ticking off all these things. So I think, yeah, for some reason at the moment, people think it comes a lot easier than it does. I don't know why that happens, but...
No, when I was doing my research on you, you know, that I had that mindset, and I thought, you know, everyone, you know, the listeners to this, especially the young people, will expect things to fall in their lap, and it won't. But you have achieved stuff at an early age. You know, you manage a big team of people at 26 years old. That's still a hell of an achievement for someone in their 20s.
It is, yeah, and I definitely think I've been very determined with it. Yeah. I have the vision for it, and I think one of the things, if I'm not excited about the work, if I'm not working hard, then I can't expect them to. And to be honest, with my team, I have a great team, and they all work just as hard as I do, and it's because of that I get to move so quick and they get to move so quick. It's like all of us. Without them, I wouldn't move. So, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Every guest says the same. It's the team around them that
you can't not say it, really, can you?
You can't, no, because they'll all watch this and have you in the office. Yeah.
It's true, though.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So, just to finish on education, what skills would you say is important for someone coming into industry? Not just, you know, technical skills. I'm talking, you know, communication or...
Yeah. I would say, not to just say what you've just said, but communication, I think, is in a point of work, so to communicate what you're doing, results, everything like that, but just to communicate how you feel as well, and if you want more work or different work, communicate that. Most companies, obviously I can only speak for igus, but at igus, if you want to try something, if you want to do something, you always get the opportunity to do it. And I think if you're having a down day, just say, I'm not at my max potential right now, and then everyone can help out. And yeah, just communicate, talk. If you've got good leaders, if you've got good managers, you'll always have the space to communicate and speak. And yeah, not just about work, but how you are as well.
Yeah, you know, we did a college event not so long ago, and I think we've actually spoken about this. It was eye-opening for us just how disengaged some of the people were. Like, we took a robot with us.
Yeah.
The robot's moving around, and you know, we did a mechatronics class of 16 students, and 4 of them made eye contact. The rest of them stayed at their feet, didn't want to engage, and that you just feel like something's missing there. Because for me to be successful in this industry, you need to be able to build relationships.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not bigging myself up, but you know, I came and pitched to you guys, and it was, I'm assuming, yes, I have a good idea, hopefully, but it was also the connection, right? So you've got to buy into me, I'm selling something. Yeah. And then I've got to buy into you that we can work together and it's a partnership.
It's got to work both ways.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, when a younger person coming into industry right now, I just worry that, yes, engineers can hide themselves in a corner and sit on a laptop or sit at the machine, but to really grow in the career, especially sales marketing, you need to be able to communicate with people.
I just think it's like when you use the example of we brought a robot, I just don't think people are as excited about robots anymore. And I think even to me, when we have a robot in the office, I'm like, oh, there's a robot. Yeah. But I think it's finding what excites them. And for me, if marketing excites you, I get excited if someone clicks on an email and I'm jumping for joy. So if you don't have the excitement, I think it's really hard to get engaged. And yeah.
I know you told me about your LinkedIn campaigns multiple times. So.
I love the LinkedIn campaigns.
So, as a business leader, what principles do you hold your team to?
I would say trust. I think we've built, especially in my team, like we've built trust that hopefully they trust me to have their best interest and to try not to overload them, only give them what I think they can do. They trust me to steer us in the right direction as much as I trust them to get it done. I'm not going to micromanage them. I'm not going to check. I trust that they like their work and they like what they do. And I think having that within a team and all trusting each other, it keeps us we are the same level, I just do different things. And I see them completely. I trust them to do everything, really. So, and hopefully they trust me.
So what do you look for then in the person if you're hiring?
Enthusiasm. It's like we said, excitement. You're excited to take on this project. You're excited about the work that I'm presenting you could possibly do. I think, and we've recently hired someone new, and that was one of the main things I had. I could see, I was saying, this might be a bit challenging, and she was, that's fine. I look for a challenge, and seeing someone excited about the role, then I know they're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Was that your first hire?
External, yeah.
Okay.
We've done some internal, but that was my first load of interviews,
right,
which was a whole new experience.
That's
really
what I was going to ask. Yeah. I mean, I've sat in interviews, but I've never been the person interviewing a candidate. So did you come up with a list of questions? Is it?
I feel like I had questions, right, and then when it actually arises, I lose my marbles a little bit. But it was definitely interesting to remove myself and not just be like, hi, you're right, and be like, hello, how are you? And take on that kind of persona.
More formal.
Yeah, exactly. But I think they went well. And it was definitely, I always say, I like to do something until I'm comfortable in it. So I'll keep doing it uncomfortably until I'm comfortable. So maybe after 5 podcasts, I'll be more comfortable.
We've got to think of things to talk about for another 4 podcasts if you're going to do 5. I mean, that's a great point, actually. Just make yourself uncomfortable until you are comfortable. It's a good trick to, teach younger people, is that you're going to come into industry and it's going to be very uncomfortable. You're going to feel out your depth very quickly. I remember I did straight away. I was actually on apprenticeship, so I was at college learning stuff, and then at my day job at Schneider, but Schneider was completely different to what I was doing at college. So like you felt comfortable in college because you're just copying it off the whiteboard, and you go into your day job and they expect you to know things
Yeah.
you have no idea about.
Yeah.
So
And
that's a good trick to...
It's also just the people, like speaking to people when you don't want to. And I think in lockdown, it's so used to just teams. And now there might be a customer come in and you don't want to speak to them, but the more customers you speak to, on the 10th customer, you're going to walk up to them. Yeah. And getting comfortable is key, I think.
Yeah. Talk to me about lockdown then, as a manager. How did you...
So I only became that towards the end of lockdown. But I didn't enjoy lockdown as kind of a younger person. I think I'd not long come out of uni. I'd been with igus out of lockdown, but I think it was only maybe 6 months. And I think coming out of uni, all I wanted to do was have the coffee station chats and be in the office. And it's kind of what you envision when you're little and your dad or your mum take you in the office in the spinny chairs and things like that. Yeah. So I was really excited for that. And I think in lockdown, I lived with my housemate and she was a key worker. So all day it was just, I'm in my pajamas, I'm working from home, it's dark, I'm back in bed. Like that cycle didn't work for me anyway. And I think I communicated that to igus and said, this is not working for me. And they let me start to come in more and things like that because they noticed that I didn't enjoy it as much. And I think the people that enjoyed lockdown had already done office-based work for 10, 15 years and they quite enjoyed the break at home. Yeah. But I think everyone's starting off. They've just spent antisocial years at uni in their dorms or going out and lectures and things like that. And this is their time then to come out of their shell. Yeah. And missing that opportunity I didn't enjoy it anyway.
No, you're still on flexible, I guess. Yeah.
We are, and I think that's why now I'm so flexible with it. If someone in my team says, I don't want to work from home, I'll never make them work from home. We do have obviously flex, so they do have to do it sometimes, but if you come to me and say, this doesn't work, I know it didn't work for me. So I would always accommodate to them. And I think some people are really productive at home, but I think most people are productive in the office, I would say.
Yeah, you miss the camaraderie. You can't replicate it on Teams.
No.
Same as, I was in sales at that point. Trying to sell something on Teams was horrendous.
Because
they're just looking at a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And then you're not actually making eye contact. You're trying to look at the camera to...
And you can zone out very easily. Yeah. And if you're in a big call and your camera's off, it's not the same as being in a meeting room upright, knowing that everyone's looking at you. So, yeah, I think it...
Do you think igus will go back to full-time in the office?
I think igus will work with whatever is working for everyone. At the moment, I think flexible hours is what most people want, and that's what we do at igus. But like I said, it accommodates to, if you want to come in, if you need to come in, we'll always allow that. But I don't know if anyone's going to not do flexible now. I feel like you can filter job ads by hybrid. Yeah. And I think that is a selling point for everyone now. So,
unfortunately, yeah, yeah. I'm on the opposite to that. I mean, as a sales engineer, I was on the road anyway, so you got used to work from home most days, but you could never beat calling into the office, seeing all the engineers and catching up, even if it's not about work, just catching up with someone and having a real conversation instead of just sending a message on WhatsApp or Teams. It's not the same. I
think when you work from home, it turns work into a purely work thing. And when you come in, when I'm at home, if my status goes to away, because I've gone to get a cup of tea, I think, oh no, someone's going to think I've been away.
Yeah.
But at work...
You'd never do that in the office.
No, I would go get a cup of tea, maybe speak to someone from another department, have a nice interaction, and not think twice. And I think there's just more pressure at home, so...
Yeah, I said the same to my wife through lockdown. She worked in an office, she's a school nurse, but then, she'd be up making a cup of tea for the team, and then you'd walk around having a chat, and then she'd sit in the office at home and she wouldn't leave the desk, wouldn't even get up to make a tea or have a lunch. She'd have a lunch at a desk because she felt like she had to be in front of the laptop the whole time. Anyway, we've digressed. We did the same with the last host, with the last guest actually, about COVID. The thing on the principles, I just want to touch on that. So enthusiasm's big within your team.
Yeah.
What else is important?
Obviously trust, like I said, but also I think, especially in my team, you notice straight away if, kind of what we've touched on before, if someone isn't hardworking. You have to have drive, you have to want to go somewhere and know where you fit in the team, where you fit in, does it fit with your personal goals being here? And I think if your personal goal is eventually to be, I don't know, a doctor, even if you're not going to be a doctor for 10 years, you're not going to be bothered about what you're doing here because your aim ultimately is to go somewhere else.
Yep.
So if I can align your personal goals with igus goals and values and things, then I'm going to get the most out of you. So yeah, having that drive and matching that, I think, is important. And just being open. What do you want to do? Tell me. And if you want to go in a different direction in marketing, let me see how we can do that. And because there's no point keeping you in something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So
then principles. Do you hold people outside of work to the same thing? Your family and friends, do you hold them to the same sort of principles? That's
an interesting question. I guess I would say all of my friends and family are hard-working people that I trust, and I always say when I have a catch-up with my friends, okay, we've spent 2 hours talking about work, let's talk about fun things. So we always say, I don't know a group that's more driven than us and things like that. So a lot of my friends have their own businesses and stuff. Okay. So I think associating with the right people helps me in work, I would say. So I guess I don't hold them to it, but they are. So yeah.
But, you know, you do, especially when you meet new people, you straight away, if you don't trust them, then they're not going to.
Yeah.
There's some sort of quote, isn't there, that you're a product of the people that you associate yourself with. So like you say, if you're in a driven group, then it pushes you all to be more driven.
Yeah. And I think if you're with someone that isn't the same driven as you, it's very noticeable and you kind of end up losing touch, I would say, because you're going at one pace and they're going at another. So yeah, I've never looked at it like that, but yeah, it is like that.
Yeah. So I've got some closing questions.
Okay.
When you're at work, or outside of work even, do you listen to podcasts, audiobooks? Have you got a favourite genre of music that you plug into?
Podcasts, definitely. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're educational.
Which ones?
They're more very American.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
So I listen to Shane and Ryland podcast. Not that anyone will know what that is. Okay. Just more like, I grew up watching YouTube, so I don't have as many TV series. I have more YouTube channels. So any YouTube channel I would watch that's gone on to a podcast, I've then kind of followed suit with that. And I'll podcast on, clean the house, podcast on, drive. I listen to one on the way here. Yep. Podcast on, do something. It's the background noise now, but I'll watch a podcast with dinner as well. I don't know, it really is becoming what you want, what I watch anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I've always been a YouTube podcast person. So.
That's an interesting point because we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with other businesses about how do you reach younger people, and you know, my sales pitch, as you remember, is always, well, the next generation aren't going to subscribe to 10 magazines.
No,
they're going to want it in their hands. They're going to want quick content. So it's interesting that you know, in your 20s is YouTube. I do the same, you know, and I've noticed recently that my attention has dropped.
Oh,
so like, if I'm eating, I'll have YouTube on. Mm-hmm. As soon as I've finished eating, I've got my phone in my hand, I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling and it's like really quick content all the time. Yeah. And I'm 30 now. So like... It's
that reinforcement straight away and constantly. And I even found for a while I was struggling to watch podcasts because I was so used to short clips that I had to just sit and watch this because I just wanted to, it's a habit.
Or if we've got Netflix on, I'll have my phone in my hand.
2 screens.
Yeah.
I'm the same. I shouldn't be, but yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you know, when you think about it, if we're doing that, the next generation will have only ever been tablets, phones, apps,
Scroll.
YouTube, and it's
Yeah.
like my niece and nephew, 3 and 5, they're just shooting around YouTube.
Oh, they probably
like,
know more than we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in 10 years' time, when people are trying to get them into manufacturing, it's going to be a completely different landscape. I think that's where it is people like us that have to push the industry.
To convince this is definitely how it's going. Yeah.
Yeah, because there are people out there that aren't convinced.
No. I mean, I don't think I've ever bought a magazine. I think maybe I might have been given one when I was little, but I would never buy a magazine.
No.
And if you're targeting the people that are interested in engineering, manufacturing, if they're my age and they've never bought a magazine, they're not going to buy yours. But they might just download an app. They might just watch that video to prep for something, or to just get a bit of background knowledge on something. That's the way we take in media now. It's not traditional anymore, it's digital. So
Yeah, which I keep harping on about. There's people
I
out
do
there
as
that
well.
don't believe me.
I think eventually, all of a sudden, I think traditional is, I even say emails are getting to the magazine point as well. We don't look at emails how we used to look at emails, and it's just delete, 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 delete.
Yep.
And emails is becoming not digital even. The digital is the apps, the scroll, the video, the images that come at you. And it's just not written, it's more visual and audio now, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sure we can clip that up, and that makes a great intro for Engineers Insight. So, other closers. So, one that I ask everyone, it's one of my favourite questions. Do you consider yourself successful?
I would say yes, but I have more goals in my life that would, in my head, warrant me as successful. I think to have got where I am in my 20s is a success. And I think often you don't celebrate the little successes, you only think you're successful if you did all the big things in life. But I think, I would say I am. There's more I'd want in my life. I'd love to buy a house, but not right now anyway. But yeah, I would say I'm happy, so I would say I'm successful, yeah.
Good answer. Would you, when you look at that success, would you attribute it to hard work or luck?
I would say I've been lucky, but I've had to work hard to get the luck. I think the luck could have passed me by. And if there's no way that you can make the most of the luck if you haven't worked hard. So hard work with some luck sprinkled in, I would say.
Okay. And where can people follow you?
On LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Ashleigh Boyce.
Okay.
I would say that. I don't think we need to give the rest of the social media. No. But yeah, LinkedIn, I'm on there.
Okay. Yeah, pretty active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, just to finish, I just wanted to say thank you. Obviously, thank you for today. I appreciate
thanks for
you being
having
a guest. It's also a good opportunity for me to say thank you for being a customer of mine.
Yeah.
A little anecdote for the listeners. So I came in and pitched Engineers Insight.
You did.
As you remember.
I remember.
And it was a no.
It was a no.
And I remember driving down the motorway thinking, that wasn't a good pitch. What did I do wrong? I should have talked about this, and maybe I talked too much about this. And then the next minute I get a phone call from you.
Hello.
Yeah, saying, Tom, we want to do it. I'll just tell Matt we're doing it. I was like, oh, amazing. And then it switched my day completely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I thought I'd call you as quickly as possible.
Yeah, before I veered off the road.
And I think that is just a good example of, at igus, like, it's not the person at the top makes all the decisions. You listen to who knows better, we discuss it, and you go with the best result. It's not who's right or wrong, it's just what is best for the company, what do we think is best, and everyone listens. So I listen, they listen, and now we're doing it. So
amazing. Well, thank you again. Really appreciate it. Thank you.